Hey, IT Nation, Sean Lordo here with another installment, segment, episode, whatever other word I can think of the Wise Up podcast. I am on with my co-host and good friend, Matt Topper. Matt, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing pretty well. There's no Duncan today, so we're going to see how this goes.
Weird.
But other than that, things are very good here.
Yes, they are very good because you don't have Duncan. It's horrible coffee. But so congratulations on your evolution.
So it'll be an even better episode today.
Yeah, I would assume so. Your evolution of coffee hopefully is happening. So, all right, for those that have not ever seen this before, Matt, the Wise Up podcast, what is the Wise Up podcast?
So Wise Up podcast is an opportunity to hear from people that you wouldn't necessarily meet or see if you're at a channel event, right? You all know the really big names, the common ones that you run into all the time. These are people who have tons and tons to contribute, and you don't necessarily see on stage every time. So we're bringing their advice, bringing their stories to you, and just having some good conversations along the way.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So this particular episode, like we've done several of them, is near and dear to me because this is part of the PitchIT cohort competitors, whatever you want to call them, for 2025 here. So, and the guest today is one of those people, which is great. One thing that really stands out to me since we've been doing the interviews with the PitchIT contestants, and I've had the privilege of working with these type of people for the last few years, is that a lot of them have ran multiple businesses. A lot of them had to have make transitions. A lot of them had to. There's a lot of humility that happens.
There's a lot of lessons, right? How many times have we heard someone, I ran an MSP, had this problem, and started something to solve it? And man, we've heard some good lessons along the way going down that road.
I agree. And how many of you even talked about like how difficult it is? I like the CEO from Logically when he said we had a PE funding now. We have been the acquisitions took place. I had to make a decision. Was I going to leave or was I going to accept what it was and make the best of it? And he chose to accept it and make the best of it. So, like I love those lessons. I think those are important. I think the problem a lot of people don't understand is we see a lot of memes like the Michael Jordan one where it's, you miss 100% of the change every shot you don't take, right? So I love this conversations that we have, but I'm going to quit rambling now. And we're going to bring on our guest, founder, CEO of Turbo Docx. Let's bring on Nicolas Fry.
Hey, thanks for having me.
What's up, man?
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
What's up? It is beautiful outside. It's nice and sunny down here in Florida, and I believe today's my parents' anniversary, so it's a good day.
You believe it is?
I'm pretty sure it is, but
you might want to check the calendar.
She may want to.
Are you guys married?
Nope.
No.
All right. Well, anniversary is a very hard date to remember, so like always pick a day if you choose to get married. That's easy. Like your bank pin or something,
Yeah, no, Matt.
I just imagine like picking the date, saying, "Okay, am I going to be able to remember? Okay, next week."
Yeah, for me and my wife, that's exactly what we did. I'm serious. We picked an easy number, Pi Day, 314.
That's smart. That's
nice.
That's very smart. That's very smart. 314. That'll be when I celebrate my 50th birthday. But it's on the 15th. But that's a Saturday this year coming up. So celebrating on Saturday.
Nice, man. Well, happy birthday.
Well, thank you. That's
in March. Yeah.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, Nicholas. One day at a time, man.
Oh, I know that. Yeah. One day at a time, one foot in front of the other. When you run a company, it's the only way to do it.
I would agree. So speaking of company, why don't you give everybody that doesn't know you a little bit of background on you and also a little bit about what Turbo Docx is?
Sure. Quick background on me is I started my career as a software engineer. I moved into being a solutions architect. I worked building data centers and clouds, but most of my interactions were actually for channel partners and MSPs who sold our solution. And after that, I went into software sales, which is a different story. But in all that time, there's always this kind of common theme of like, how can we turn around a proposal or how can we turn around a presentation in a matter of minutes? Like, as an MSP, I used to see this all the time. how many of these people are like, yeah, I'll get back to you in a few hours. And then of course life happens. If you're a founder-led MSP, you have a, fire comes up, got to put it out. Or if you're a sales team, you got 10 other deals you're working. And you forget to do it. With Turbo Docx, the idea is really simple. I click into ConnectWise PSA, click on a record, like an op or a company, go into a Zoom call, click on that call or Teams or whatever your poison is. And then at the end of it, you get a proposal. And then by the way, we give away free e-signature too, because it's a commodity and, we don't charge for that. So, for us, it's allowing founder-led sales or sales teams, sales ops, how do they scale? How do they keep that voice of the founder? And how do you do it quickly? That's why it's the Turbo and Docx, hence Turbo Docx.
So what made you decide you wanted to get into this particular business or this particular thing to focus on, from doing software work in data center where it's a totally different field almost, right? MSPs don't really dabble in those fields much.
Well, so the MSPs we used to work with were resellers of like desktop as a service, or they would manage environments like that. So think like VDI. Some of the more advanced ones are doing things like NetScaler, Nutanix. There's a lot more than like obviously there's endpoint solutions like the stuff that ConnectWise has. But really it was this common theme of like deals were lost. Like I used to do software sales too, towards like right before I got into being a founder. And it was just simply because someone didn't follow up quick enough, or simply another person beat him to the quote, things like that. Speed, actually, let me rephrase this. Lack of speed kills, quoting Jeremy Clarkson, if you watch Top Gear. So it's, it's a passion problem. It's something I used to spend many nights in hotel rooms for some of my really larger clients. I spent way too much time doing stuff like this. I want to spend more time with the clients and not the keyboard. So that's really why we zeroed down on this. And even our angels, like the folks who backed us, they all come from the similar space, whether it was the channel or directly from the vendor or even directly from MSPs. They get it. They get it because the deal sizes that they're working, you can't afford to mess things up. You can't afford to have a copy paste error. You can't afford to give something to, one company and you accidentally have the competitor in there because you copy pasted from your last proposal. It's happened. I'm sure it's happened to all of us.
I've seen all of these things happen.
Exactly. So for us, like, think just beyond templating. I think templating's been around since the 90s. Think beyond e-signature because that's problem's been solved 100 times over. For us, we're leveraging AI agents to plug into all the tools. Think of us as like Switzerland. You can plug into anything you want. We'll pull what you need to do. And it's not just like filling in first name, Nicolas, company, Turbo Docx. I mean, think of it even writing like one of our common use cases, writing a statement of work. We could write an entire SAL based off a discovery call we had. We're writing an entire SAL based off an assessment you ran with some PowerShell. You can upload the results to Turbo, it could read through it. It can look at prior projects you've done, looking at what we call our knowledge base, and it learns from that. It's all about speed and precision. And I think you either had one or the other before AI, and with AI, you could do them both together, in my opinion. So,
well, that's a bold statement to make because you're right. It can be done with AI, right? However, how does one get themselves in a position to actually leverage AI in the right way to do it? Because prior to AI, it was all automation conversations, right? And how to automate your processes. And how many people were successful with that? Some, not all. Do you think we're going to run into the same problem?
I think it depends on the company. So I guess, Sean, are you asking in the context of like, I'm an MSP and I'm implementing process internally? Is it I'm an MSP and I'm thinking for my customer, like downstream? Like what?
I'm saying all the above. Well, first, anytime I talk, I always talk from the nucleus on. In this case, the nucleus, not an MSP, just any business in general. It could be vendor, it could be MSP. The nucleus is them enabling themselves to do the job first, and then downstream. So even with enabling themselves, how many people have you seen successfully apply and implement automation to their businesses on all fronts? I say all fronts because it's different.
No, it depends on the type of company, and it really depends on the leadership. Like if you have, not to throw anyone under the bus, Dad. No, I'm just kidding. Some people are stuck in their ways, right? Some people will not change. Like this is how I've been doing it for the last 20 years. It's what's worked. Right. I make a decent living. Life's good. But then there's another category of people, and not to break it by generation, but like if you look at, I'll date myself. Like when I was a kid, we had this thing called the Dewey Decimal System, and I thought most people thought that was good enough. And then, if I had to look something up, I had to pull up my Encyclopedia Britannica. I had to cite it from there and AP and all that. And then we started using Wikipedia, and that was like this new thing, and it was like the devil. Oh, you can't use Wikipedia; it's not reliable and it can contribute. Now Wikipedia is considered a first-class source. Like that is like the first thing someone looks at to determine what truth is. I think using that same analogy, AI is an extension of people who want to automate things, but if someone's stuck in their ways, like, I mean, I'm not going to leave them for the
Sure,
dog.
no. Well,
things like chat interfaces, which is kind of a new paradigm. I think that's going to make things easier because people can conceptualize that better. It's kind of like sending a Slack message, like there's that. But I think to your point, like in terms of adoption and being successful, it really comes down to the ethos of the team and the individuals. Like I don't think like because AI came out, you snap your fingers and suddenly everyone is going to be great at it, want to implement it, etc. That's why like, baby steps, right? Like for us, our shoe-in is e-signature. That's why we give it away for free, because I know in some capacity you're paying for it already. And it's literally like a dollar for dollar swap. Like, hey, they're doing it cheaper. Cool. Let's have a conversation. And once I'm on the call, it's like, oh, cool, we ripped out XYZ signature solution. By the way, how are you making your proposals today? And it's usually one of two things. It's like, we're not, or we're doing it and we're copy pasting. And then there's this third option, which is like, I'm copy pasting from Copilot or from ChatGPT or Anthropic. And there's a lot of time sitting there styling it, branding it, whatever. And we kind of do all three of that in one. So that's kind of, I view it progressive, Sean.
Okay, fair.
Do you guys, do you help the process of making a SAO easier? And what I mean by that is, right, say you're doing a proposal for server replacement or email migration or something. There's all this stuff that you need an experienced engineer, or did need an experienced engineer. Like, oh man, do they have like old BlackBerry servers in use? So I got to put that in the assumption section, right? All this stuff that you need to think about. Does this help reduce, like, maybe I can have a lower level guy do some of this and save my senior guys for doing the actual work now, or is that a totally different thing that we're talking about?
No, so you hit on a great point, Matt. So one of my philosophies is, and as you're during onboarding, send me your top 3 the best things you sent out, best SAOs you've done. We're going to take that, we're going to carve it up, like the assumption section, different phases of a project, whatever, and we're going to put that in the Turbo Docx knowledge base. Now Turbo Docx knows that. It knows how you write. It knows how you quote hours. It knows or estimate hours, whatever. And now you can take pretty much anyone on your team, including a junior resource. You could have them have a discovery call. You could have them point to items in the knowledge base. And guess what? It's going to write that for you using the context of the call they were just on. So yeah, like a junior resource should be able to come out and quote things or scope things correctly. And now that senior resource isn't spending time in Office or Google Docs. They're spending their time reviewing what the other guy wrote. And guess what? It's not what the other guy wrote. It's what the other guy kind of steered. And they're just going to spend their time reviewing it rather than writing it all from scratch or cutting and pasting, etc. So yeah, that's one of the common use cases is like, how do we standardize at scale the real technical stuff, right? Like, like if you're talking about an Office 365 migration, you're dealing with Exchange servers and all sorts of wacky stuff. Like, to your point, if you miss a detail, you're done. But at least with Turbo, it already knows all that, right? And it could reference that and write it in, and you can steer it further, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge. I always had to do all my own proposals, because if you miss something like, oh, this application connects to Exchange in some weird way, now you're like 10 hours in the hole because you missed it. Like, having junior guys be able to do that would be huge. It became a really big bottleneck.
I agree. Yeah, and also it's kind of cool too, because it's symbiotic. Like the junior person is going to see the output, and they're going to learn from that too, because it's not like it's making stuff up. I mean, it's literally referencing your past work. So they can learn a thing or two, and it levels everyone up together.
What about one challenge that sales, account management, all of them have is pulling from multiple sources, depending on what the work is, right? In particular, when you're going through prospecting for net new business and new acquisition, you're on your CRM, you're going through it, you're making your phone calls, you go into that, and that's where you pull your information from, right? On the other side of things, existing clients, the process may involve a QBR, right? Or whatever. They might use a whole different technology for that, right? So is there, and it's, I was thinking about this, Matt was asking the question, even because if he's doing a statement of work or he's going to do a proposal of any sort, he's probably pulling from something that transpired. So QBRs are one thing, or just an engineer was out there looking at it and saying, oh, we got to get this
Where'd
done.
we get burned last time?
Right, exactly. Or something like that. So how do you make it easy for them to have a single source of truth or to pull from one place? Because remember, like you might have said it before, speed kills, right? The lack of speed will stop velocity. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's a great point. So if you want to think of Turbo Docx, like we can talk to any data source that we support, and we build integrations, on request. We can put it on any piece of paper or any presentation. So in a QBR example, you might, for example, connect the PSA. You might look at things in there like data we have access to, like projects and service boards, I want to say, for example. You can pull that data and you can leverage that to create like graphs. So we have like a module on our platform where we create like a pie chart. Here's where the majority of your time was spent. And, look at the billable code or whatever, or however you write it up.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, like a post-sales use case, for example, or renewal or a quarterly conversation like a QBR, just point at what you need, tell it what you want it to do on that section of a slide or that part of like a report you might send them every few months, and let Turbo do the heavy lifting. So yeah, it's like a math equation: data plus template equals output, and it's however you want to steer it.
Awesome. Okay. Matt, you still here?
What are you seeing? Yeah, I'm still here.
Matt loves sales conversations. That's why. It's like his favorite thing to talk about.
Yeah,
I can talk about Kerberos and Active Directory and PKI, whatever you want to geek out on, Matt. Like I'm game. I used to do all that.
Let's not talk about Kerberos because it's only a 15-minute.
You're a security guy, right? Oh, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Long-time sysadmin, now security guy. I've had enough of Kerberos. Thank you very much.
Why'd you block port 80, man? Sorry.
Oh, man, this is a good episode. What do you see in the result be? Like what are clients or customers saying has changed from going down the Turbo Docx road?
Well, what's changed? Number one is speed, and you could pull that from our dashboard. Number two is standardization, probably. Like, hey, it's not like I have 4 different, more expensive resources pulled from the field to write paperwork, and then you have 4 completely different outcomes because 4 completely different people wrote it, right? So you have standardization, and then ultimately cost savings too. So I know this is a recorded podcast. I don't want to eat my words, but like we're free. Then we $10 a month. We're super expensive there. And our next jump point's $20 a month, which is extremely expensive for most MSPs, of course, being sarcastic for those listening. And, if you look at, like, I just had a call the other day with an MSP. You're getting quoted PandaDoc enterprise licensing, and just want to put it out there. They're an excellent vendor. I have nothing them at all. Them and the other big ones have set the stage for the field. We were significantly cheaper. And some of the larger vendors, they'll get there. Some of them don't have AI capabilities yet. I think given the direction of like Copilot and ChatGPT and MCP and all these geeky things I could talk about, I think that the integration piece will eventually become a commodity, probably in the next 6 to 12 months. But it comes down to also relationships, because, for example, ConnectWise doesn't just give a tenant to everyone. Like I had to go through a process to get that. So that goes back to kind of neutrality of things we can integrate with and playing nice. So
I appreciate that you said the integration will be a commodity in 6 months. But to say an integration into anything specific, all of the above, everything, what should somebody expect from this? Because again, you're talking about various moving parts.
So
what should be the standard, I guess? Maybe that's what we should have a conversation around when we talk about integrations. What should be the expected standard of what integration should look like to do what?
Or should cost, or what do you mean?
All of the above. Because
look,
I don't disagree with you, by the way. I think there's a level that should be expected. and there should be, and costs will wither away as time progresses of that original, because
Yeah, and I'd like to hear your perspective too, because in my eyes, a lot of vendors offer like an APIs page or developers page, and a lot of times they even have like a free tier where you don't need to go and get an environment provision for you. Like some vendors require you to put a ticket in, and they give you a login, and there's all that. And then some vendors like, oh, I see you hit sign up and you're ready to boogie. I think for those sort of self-serve vendors, I think that the experience for every self-serve vendor that has decent adoption, I'm going to throw a dart out there, 10 million ARR or higher, I think is going to get standard integrated into anything and everything. And there's ways to make that easier now. So in the AI world, there's this thing called MCP, which is Model Context Protocol. Think of that as like an adapter. You go to Europe, you want to use your American plug, they give you an adapter. It just works. You don't have to think about the voltage conversion and this and that. So that's one thing. So as more vendors start offering MCP, and it's kind of getting adopted slowly, in my opinion, or not adopted, but vendors are slow to implement it. Mm-hmm. That right off the bat, that's going to make everything plug and play. Then there's this other thing called LLM's text, which is a fancy way of saying on our site, if you're like a robot crawling it, like a search engine, but for AI, here's how to read our documentation. So what that now does is basically say, hey, I have Copilot, and I'm now able to understand the Turbo Docx API, even though they don't offer MCP yet. So it's like teaching the AI how to read like a human, like the documentation, like just like any product. I think once those two are in place, and they will be, I think it's just a matter of time. The debate is how long. I think that vendors that don't gate their environments to like a provisioning, like you have to fill out a form or speak to a rep or have some sort of partnership in place. I think for all those vendors, it's going to be a commodity. Like I don't expect. Here, I'll give an example. OpenAI is pushing their HubSpot MCP integration right now, and it's awesome. Like I think it's great. We didn't take that route because we don't have access to their MCP because it's private. So we actually have our agents are actually hitting the APIs and kind of like a human, like, oh, let me look at a company. Oh, these are the deals on the company. Let's, and that approach for agentic stuff we're doing, even with the PSA for ConnectWise, like the lower the lower the barrier to entry it is to plug into someone else's tool, the more likely you're going to see other AI agentic tools adopt. So I think that the differentiator is going to be not AI. Like it's like the anti of what I'm saying. It's I don't think AI. I think AI and I think integrations are going to be commoditized relatively quickly compared to other tools that got adopted, like IoT, like your smart refrigerator, or self-driving cars. Like I could go on and on, but yeah.
Sure.
So you're almost saying AI is going to, in your opinion, like level things, right? Such that integration is no longer a differentiator, it just is. And you have to differentiate based on your actual product functionality more than anything else.
100%. And I'm going to go a step further. And I say this to all my friends and my team, like code is no longer a differentiator. Your moat is no longer your code. Your moat is no longer your integrations. Your moat is your user experience for the humans who have the money to buy your product. Your moat is your brand. Your moat is your marketing. It wouldn't surprise me, especially if these like no code tools out there now that you get probably ads for, like Lovable is a great solution. Even internal tooling teams, like if they could whip up an internal tool that tracks the delivery of pizzas, are they really going to go spend $20 a month on a SaaS to track orders as it comes in? Now, obviously, there's like enterprise ones, like you go to like a McDonald's or a Burger King, it's a little bit of a different animal. But I think moats are no longer the incumbents are going to stay. And I think if you're a new vendor in the space, you cannot say your moat is your code. You cannot say your moat is your product, because it isn't. Your moat is you and your brand and your marketing. So,
love it.
Sorry, I think it's weird. I have weird perceptions on life. So.
No, I wish we had more time. We could go on a long time about this. So we actually are about out of time. This has been fantastic in that we're out of time before we even got to remotely everything we would talk about.
Oh God.
We always ask our guests to wrap up with one question, and that is, if you could give in the form of a habit, right, something they should start or stop doing, just piece of advice to our viewers, listeners, I guess in this case, about anything we just talked about, went in a lot of different directions there. What's your parting words to the audience, right? What should they start doing?
To those listening, my parting words with you is give every one of your customers a white glove experience. There's no reason why you can't do that now with the amount of platforms and tooling out there. If you want to give someone a welcome email, yeah, it's easy to automate it, but guess what? Now it's even easier to have someone whip something up in a tool and really personalize it. A lot of you are competing for the same piece of pie, and that extra level of elbow grease is what's going to differentiate you. Because again, the moat is no longer, oh, we offer XYZ tool, we offer XYZ management, we offer XYZ service, because we're all offering the same thing, or it's going to get there. I think it's that personal touch that's going to make the difference.
I like that. I appreciate that completely. I don't disagree. I think the other thing to add to that is you can do that, but when people are trying to do self-serve models, you could still have a level of white glove approach to even self-serve. So people think that it becomes a generic way of doing things. I don't agree with that. I think you can still have I don't want to say Amazon white glove is a white glove approach, but Amazon kind of is. You want to talk about self-serve in a simple way you feel good and it's easy to do business with? That's Amazon.
Easy to do business with. I don't
Yes.
know if I feel good every time.
What?
I feel good.
It's not Wish when you think you order something that's this size. So, yeah, I totally appreciate that. All right, Nicolas, thanks, man. This was a great talk. We could have done a lot more. We might have to think about having you back on sometime in the future. Post PitchIT, see how you stand.
Yeah, I'd love to, and I'm going to hold you to that.
All right, please do.
All right.
Matt, anything else you want to add, dude?
No, great conversation. Like Sean said, we could have gone all day. So what better sign than that?
Exactly. All right. So, and Sam wants to do a Where Are They Now? So you'll be like the Milli Vanilli episode. Where are they now? So that's dating myself. Otherwise, thank you all for tuning in. Nicolas, thank you for being around, dude, and taking time with us. Matt, always a pleasure seeing you. And for everybody else, we'll see you next time. I'm in a whole new